minutes of celebrating a Luke McCaffrey touchdown finally hitting, right? That's how we're going to handle this.
But that's a mature thing of you to do, Dan.
I mean, I'm going to come in. Somebody point me to a jeweler. I'm coming in with Albert Hainsworth level jewelry. I bet that damn bet for 22 weeks. Something crazy like that. It's an insane. Let's see, they played 19 games last year. This is week number 4, so I guess 24 weeks, 23 weeks. We'll let everybody kind of get in here, get into the chat room, if you will. This is a big win for Washington. They do it without Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota played relatively well offensively. They played relatively well as a unit. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury finding out he has running backs. That's nice.
Using them.
Thank you, Cliff, for that one. Using everyone as well. So that was that was nice to see. I thought defensively they were really good as well. So we'll allow you. Yeah, shout out to DC Dave, HTTR. You can watch us on Twitter and on YouTube. We are not on radio, but you can watch us on Twitter and or YouTube. So tell your friends, get in here. We'll be interactive throughout a majority of our situation here. Somehow, Linnell, the Green Bay Packers screwed up against the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know how.
Yeah, it was a fumble from Josh Jacobs at the end of that one. It's been a weird day around the NFL, but I thought, just to get some opening thoughts here, all three phases dominated this one. I thought it was really, cool to watch. You mentioned Cliff, noticing that we have running backs. It was awesome to see. I thought the offense was good. Chris Paul played really well. Andrew Wiley played really well. I thought Josh Conley, for the most part, was okay. Had a couple of penalties, but you expected going up against this group. Love that we got to see Terry McLaurin connect on the deep shot. But the special teams, man. I know Brian Mitchell's probably going to have a field day tomorrow on the radio, seeing the way the kick return units and the punt return unit looked, man. Jalen Lane, awesome. Debo Samuel, awesome. Thought your coverage units were good. The only thing that was bad about your special teams was your stupid kicker, Matt Gay. He is awful. Hopefully he's not on the team anymore. So here's the thing about the defense. I see someone typing, defense was amazing. They really took a leak down. I could say they pissed down their leg.
Yeah, this is YouTube. This is YouTube.
The defense pissed down their damn leg and ruined what should have been a flawless day by giving up these explosive pass plays. It's got to be something that you get figured out before next week, because Michael Penix was awful today, but who knows? He may get back right next week against Washington. All three phases, though, really good. I'm not playing Jaden Daniels next week, especially after the report we got from Jeremy Fowler that he wasn't even close. D-line dominated, O-line dominated. It's what we said was going to be the key to this football game, and they did it. They won this game despite turning the football over, too, which I thought was
still waiting on their first turnover. Yeah, they had a couple of opportunities, and they just couldn't. Like, I thought Trey Amos was going to come away with his first interception of his career, and he didn't. Nobody's forcing fumbles on this defense, so you're still waiting patiently, not patiently at this point anymore. Like, I'm kind of angry. Where are all of the turnovers? I thought that's one of the things that we were promised.
Need them. And it's been frustrating because they had so many opportunities today, they just couldn't catch them. Joe Witt mentioned it during the spring. They dropped a lot of interceptions last year. They've dropped a couple today. They could have had at least 4 picks today, but just not able to come up with it. But look, you take them how they come, man. It's hard to win in the National Football League.
Especially without Jaden Daniels. Like, it can't be overstated. They did this with the backup quarterback, and they hung 40, which is hilariously not the first time that Marcus Mariota, as the backup quarterback, has hung 40 points. Because he did it against the Carolina Panthers. So that is really the biggest takeaway, but you're right. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I mean, you hit it on the head, though, man. Like, Mariota looked good. I'm just happy they were able to bounce back after a not good performance. Let's just call it what it is, right? They didn't play well last weekend in Green Bay, and for them to be able to bounce back the way they did, I thought was super cool to see. And some guys played big that needed to, man.
I thought Bobby Wagner was really good today. Yeah. I thought Frankie Louva, while on the stat sheet he's maybe not popping off the way that Bobby was. Mm-hmm. Bobby had 2 sacks. I thought Frankie Louva was much better today in terms of being where he needed to be, being a part of a lot of the tackles behind the line of scrimmage. I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah, he was. Just a good game plan, I would say, from Cliff Kingsbury. Doing a nice job window dressing what they were doing offensively, getting the defense, to move their eyes in the run game by the orbit motion that you continue to see. We saw the return of the pony set this afternoon with multiple backs being in the backfield with the quarterbacks. I thought Ben Sinnott had a couple of nice blocks that sprung some of these runs. The interior three of this offensive line, though, Chris Paul, Tyler Biotish, as well as Andrew Wiley, I thought played their ass off. Like, those three guys were really, leading the way and making these holes as big as they were for these Washington running backs. And I thought the backs did a good job hitting it, executing, whole 9 yards. It was damn near a perfect day offensively.
I was told that putting Wiley in there was going to completely tank the offensive line. He played pretty good. He played pretty good against a pretty decent defensive line. Washington became the first team of only 3 this year, but the first team to have a running back go for over 30 yards against the Vegas Raiders. I mean, it's very nice that Cliff Kingsbury remembered that he had running backs.
I know, right?
It's like, oh, wait, if I give the ball to Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, he can do things with the football. Hey, if Jeremy McNichols gets the ball, he can do things with the football. So I hope that he remembers it moving forward, because if you can get a good balance, you have the talent in the backfield to be really, really dangerous offensively, and today was a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I just give credit to Cliff because, look, it's easy to hear noise and then try to be petty and say, I'm going to do it my way. I just think he leaned into his rushing attack. I thought it was a good plan. I want to give credit to Marcus Mariota as well. I know there were a couple of idiots on Twitter that took my tweet totally out of context because some of you all act like you're stupid and brain dead. Marcus Mariota ran the read option, the zone read today, to perfection. And I tweeted that exact thing and said Jaden Daniels needs to take a page out of his book. Marcus made the right read every single time, and it then allowed them to get to their play action stuff. It allowed the RPO pop passes to work. Really, really good day under center for Marcus Mariota. And he's got a revenge game next week, so he better get the start.
Yeah, I think we will see Marcus next week.
No chance I'm playing Jay.
We'll let next week be next week. Talk to me a little bit more about what you saw from him, though, in terms of getting the play action involved, because we started to see some of the RPO stuff that we hadn't really seen in the first 2 weeks of the season. And now part of that is because we understood what happened against Green Bay was not acceptable. This is a championship-level caliber offense, and they did not play like it against a Green Bay team that, by the way, got beat today by the Cleveland Browns. The NFL's crazy, man, I swear. But it felt like there was a much bigger emphasis on doing some of the things that they did really, really well last year. And the RPO, I thought, was one of them.
I'll be real. Like, this was Marcus Mariota making the right reads. Like, they called read option last week against Green Bay. Jaden just handed it off every time. And there were clear points when we were, on the broom where we're looking at each other saying he probably should have pulled that one. I think he executed to perfection. And I thought, when you have success doing it, like I mentioned a moment ago, it opens up the other pieces of your pass game that allows you to play off of that. Now you've got sequencing. Now you feel like there's continuity with what you're doing offensively, not just calling plays. I give credit to, Washington, though, man. They hung around in this one. They did not let Vegas really climb back into this. Never felt threatened at all throughout the game. And this is now the second time in 3 weeks that they have totally owned the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. So I want to believe that that's who they are. We're going to find out next week.
We'll find out next week. I think the one thing is, offensively, there might be something there because the Raiders' front four is a decent front four. That offensive line is trash.
Yeah, it's not very
hot
good,
garbage. Barely an NFL offensive line. They were just getting beat like a drum by most of the game, right? By Duran, Kinlaw. Von Miller got a sack. Bobby had 2 sacks. Dorrance Armstrong had a sack. Everyone was getting involved in the party. Javonte Jean-Baptiste had a sack. Everyone was getting involved in the party, which is nice. You're only responsible for playing who's in front of you, but you will see better offensive lines. It is, though, nice to get into your head a little bit. Hey, we have momentum now. Hey, how can we build off of this? Like, have things going in the right direction. Before we get to this, I do want to tell all y'all in the chat, we see you. Give us a game ball. What player or players, plural, are you giving a game ball to? Linnell and I will do that in about 4 or 5 minutes here. We want yours. We will start to read some of those in the chat. You can tweet us as well at the Denton Day, at NELL_BTP. I see my guy DC Dave talking about Luke McCaffrey. 16-1, baby. 16-1 after 23 weeks of betting that thing every single week. It finally cashed. 16-1. That was the best part about a guy like Terry after he was robbed of a touchdown, which that should have been a touchdown. We kind of criticized Dan Quinn for his review process in our halftime portion of the show today. Would have liked to see a challenge. I don't know what the rules are with the expedited stuff, though. The expedited challenge is the devil, though, because it robbed Terry of a touchdown. They used like some goofy ass camera angle too. It wasn't even one of the ones that we saw on the television. It was terrible. It was terrible by them.
Yeah, it was not very good. But I think the idea that they were able to hook up, I think, is the bigger picture thing. Terry was wide open. But that's what happens when you have success like that in a run game. That was a double move off of play action. Like, that's when you get, success like that in the running game and you're influencing the eyes of the defense, making them play run first and having them scream downfield. When you get one-on-one with Terry McLaurin on the outside, it's curtains. And it's all a part of the game plan. Like,
did it bother you that he got chased down?
I mean, I knew it was going to happen. It's just what happens. It's honestly the stupidest thing ever. If I was him, I would have made Dan Quinn throw it because all them damn incentives he has in this contract, he needs a touchdown.
He does need the touchdowns, certainly. They got Debo involved as well today on the passing game, but more so in the running game, it felt like. Because, again, they wanted to do some creative things. I do think part of it is that Cliff is, like, cautious still about the running back situation in the locker room. But, like, listen to this. McNichols, 4 carries for 78 yards. As a team, by the way, Washington ran for 201 yards.
Second time this year.
On 32 carries, 201 yards, 6.3 yards a pop. McNichols, 78 yards on 4 carries. Mariota, 40 yards on 6 carries. Chris Rodriguez, 39 yards on 11 carries. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt only on 8 carries. Why, I don't really know. 26 yards, so his did go down a little bit in the second half, and Debo had 3 carries for 18 yards. But I do like the spreading of the wealth there in terms of the carries. I would just like to maybe flip the numbers with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think it's one of them situations right now. I don't matter who the hell the back is. Like, they're going to have success doing it. I mentioned coming in to today, they were third in the National Football League in terms of rush yards before contact, meaning the offensive line is blowing people off the ball. They're not getting touched till they're 2 or 3 yards downfield. Me and you could have went in there today and had some good runs. So I think the offensive line.
Foot injury.
Foot's got him bothered. I think the offensive line, though, deserves the credit for what happened today in the run game. I know Jeremy McNichols had a great individual effort on a run. But outside of that, I mean, everything was super well blocked up throughout the entirety of this one. They whipped ass on the interior. That trio of Biotish, Wiley, and Chris Paul were awesome.
I think I came up with a new nickname for Josh Connerly. We just need to see it more frequently. Yeah. He's the dullest people mover.
The dullest people
because he was moving. I mean, in the first half, he was moving bodies. There was on one of the big run plays. I think it was for Chris Rodriguez. On one of the big run plays, though, he's taking on 2 guys and he's just moving guys out of the way.
That's what he do.
And if you've ever flown United out of Dulles, you know you got to jump on that nasty ass people mover. I like Connerly more than I like that thing, but he was just moving bodies, man. I think as an offensive line, it's very nice to see him kind of get his feet wet. I thought today was his best game. You know, even going up against Max Crosby. Yeah. Did you notice whenever he got flagged, really veteran move by Laremy Tunsil to also get flagged?
I know, right?
And he only got flagged twice, but both of them got flagged on the same place. That's a true veteran looking out for his young guy.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought, overall, like, both of the tackles played well. But to your point, like, Connerly, we mentioned coming in, he was 8th amongst all tackles in terms of run block win rate. So his ability to, like, get up on you and then shuffle his feet laterally to keep, him in front of you, I think is awesome. Big fan of his, man. I think this is all going to end up making him better in terms of, like, going up against these tremendous edge rushers to start the year. Like, he's only going to get better. Next week, it's almost like you got the week off. You go from taking on Crosby, Parsons, the badass trio in New York, and then you get
and it's like
Jalon Walker and James Pierce.
Who knows who at Atlanta, right? Come on. Guys that you beat up a little bit.
Exactly.
So you got to feel really good about that if you are him. All right, we see some of y'all in the chat giving out some game balls. We're gonna read some of yours coming up here momentarily, but Linnell, we will do our game balls first here. So you have an opportunity to give out 1, 2, 3. We don't put a number on these things unless they lose. If they lose, we only give out 1. But if they win, we could be pretty generous here.
Jeremy McNichols, he gets it first for me. That end of that great run that he had, just super individual effort. He was like limited coming into this thing. He had a hamstring injury. I thought he was good in pass pro. Then he had that big run that popped. There were some other good runs that he had. So a really good game for Jeremy McNichols. He gets my first game ball.
I'm giving it to Jalen Lane. The speed that we saw and to finally have a weapon back there in the punt return game is incredibly important. And the way that he was able to find the hole, attack the hole, and then you are not catching me once I get out into the open field. So I thought Jalen Lane was fantastic. He gets my first one.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Ben, text. Yeah, I thought he just hits it different. You can see the speed that he runs with when he's on kickoff return, when he's on punt return. You gotta fly. You can't tiptoe. It can't be any hesitation or anything like that. You just gotta go. And he flew, man. He took a shot on a couple of these joints too.
Yeah.
Because he's moving so fast. I gave one to J-Mac. I'm gonna give one to the offensive line. I keep wanting to highlight the interior three in particular. Tyler Biotish, Andrew Wiley, Chris Paul, attaboy from me to you. I mean, I thought they did a really good job moving people. I thought when they pulled, they were awesome. And Chris Paul, we know how that gets. When he puts his hands on you, it's absolutely over. So the interior three of that offensive line, kicking ass, taking names, and it allowed Washington to run for 200 yards for the second time in 3 weeks.
I got to give one to my boy Luke. Getting his first touchdown of his NFL career. I hope somebody went and chased the ball down for him. I finally cashed in on my bet, but getting him involved, I think, is important because there is kind of an opening in terms of wide receiver 3 and 4, right? We don't know what the history or what the future is going to be like for Noah Brown. He does, unfortunately, have a history of getting tweaked up a little bit, having some lower body injuries or whatever. So there's openings there with Jalen Lane having a good game, with Luke McCaffrey having a good game. It was nice to see those guys get involved and have a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was super duper fun to watch it. And here's the thing with Luke. I thought the draft class today stepped up. Ben Sinnott, I thought, was good in the run game. I thought Luke obviously made the play. Jazon Newton had 3 or 4 just splash run stuffs where you see him winning quickly with his hands and then making the tackle. And there are a bunch of red jerseys around the ball, so you don't know who to credit. But I see you, big fella, being the first guy to penetrate the offensive line, man, and get into the other team's backfield. He was big today. The D-line as a whole, man, they whipped ass. Somebody wrote Deron Payne in here. Whew.
He was good, man.
He has been, the first 3 weeks, he's been a man possessed, acting like he needs some new money.
My final game ball
Yeah.
is Jeremy McNichols.
Yeah.
He became the first player in since 2019 to have a run of 60 yards. The last person to do it was Darius Geis. Brian Robinson never did it. Antonio Gibson never did it. He was the first one to have a run of that magnitude. That's an incredibly impressive feat. And the way that he did it too, Linnell, like it wasn't just he goes untouched. He fought for it, did the work, got the reward. How often do you see guys get kind of bottled up at the line of scrimmage, fight through it, get a big play, and then get chased down, and they don't get the touchdown. You're out of breath. You got to sub somebody else in. Now, he trucked a bunch of the Raiders. I think Jeremy Chin was one of them. Revenge game. Take that. And then he finds his way all the way to the end zone. I thought he was spectacular on that particular run. You didn't see a lot of McNichols, but he made do of the work he was given.
Yeah, they had him in there on those obvious passing downs. Speaking of the passing downs, real quick, Bill Merritt, I saw you too do a good job in pass pro blitz pickup. That was awesome for you to have a good play without the ball after Cliff kind of called you out this week. Way to man up and step up. But J-Mac he's a horse, bro.
He is.
That looks like a starting running back in this league.
It does.
So when we have all these combos about that running back room being deep and you're wondering why Brian Robinson Jr. was dealt, boom. I mean, we got 3, 4, legitimate, capable guys that can go out and get the job done each and every week. Marshawn Lattimore. Thought Marshawn Lattimore had an interesting day, too. The secondary as a whole, though, man, I don't want to wrap up the game ball conversation, but I do want to get to the injury situation that Washington's currently dealing with at corner. Rumor has it, sources say, that Denton Day going to get a tryout on Monday.
Hey,
my DBs unite.
My DSYS team in 2009 won a championship, man. Don't sleep on me.
Yeah.
I had 1 career interception.
Well, there we go. Maybe you can do your best Cooper DeJean impersonation and see if you can make some plays.
Put me in an elite class.
I'm about to say, man. But, no. I think you may have an issue with that moving forward. Marshawn's got a concussion, didn't return. Amos is dealing with, I didn't see the injury, but he's dealing with something.
It's a calf injury. So Amos is a calf injury. Jonathan Jones is on IR. That was made earlier this week. So some of the injuries, Terry also did not return after that big catch with a quad injury. Percy Butler, I think, had a hip injury at one point. I don't know. I don't recall if he returned into the game. I do wonder if like the Terry situation and maybe the Trey Amos situation where we're just going to be cautious because we know we're winning the football game.
Right. Debo didn't come back in either.
Yeah, if they needed to come back in, could they have come back in? My feeling is yes is probably the answer to that. Like if this was a playoff game, you're probably gutting through it. But at that point, you had already scored. You hadn't scored 40, but you were on the verge of scoring 40. So there were some guys that didn't need to come back in. And then it also kind of gives other guys opportunities to step up. And like you get a Luke McCaffrey touchdown that put some change in my pocket. You also got a couple of good Noah I plays as he stepped in when both Lattimore and Trey Amos stepped out of the game. I want to look at some of the game balls that everyone in our chat is putting up here. As you can imagine, there's a lot in the direction of Jeremy McNichols. Kyle W. says Jeremy McNichols. T. Rome says game ball to Marcus. Dorrance Armstrong and Cliff. I think Armstrong's a guy we haven't talked about a ton, Linnell.
Yeah.
He played really well. Got after the quarterback.
Sack.
He's had a good season to start in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, he has. And as I mentioned in the pregame, like this Washington pass rush has been super impactful. I thought the first couple of games, they were tied for the NFL lead in quarterback pressures. The sack percentage was right around middle of the pack in the early 20s, so you want to get better at finishing. But to your point, Dorrance Armstrong, like a guy that really is taking his game to the next level. And when we were doing our little Commander social bit out there, he, divulged that, hey, actually your favorite player was growing up. He said Von Miller. Him and Von, have been like attached at the hip, and then the bend that he has showed as a rusher has been really good. He's doing a good job timing the snap. They're rushing him from the edge. They're rushing him from the interior. I love all of it. But what's most important to me, and this is now 3 weeks in a row that this has happened, this run defense is back. They are shutting down people running the football. I know Genty had a couple of nice runs, and the safeties were getting absolutely trucked.
Yeah, they were getting trucked.
But for the third time in 3 weeks, we have stymied the other team's rushing attack. It happened last week against Green Bay. I thought you were pretty damn good against Josh Jacobs, all things considered. Week 1, they had no shot at running the football. And then this afternoon, you take away some of these, 10, 11-yard runs from Genty. I mean, he had a pedestrian day. What did he ultimately finish with? I don't have the box score pulled up in front of me, but I know.
I do think
they did a good job, man.
I think he had like 60-some-odd yards.
You'll take it.
But you'll take it. He really wasn't a factor in the game. I think that's the important thing. Like the numbers might suggest. So he did 17 carries for 63 yards, 3.7 a pop. The numbers suggest, hey, he had 63 yards against this Washington defense, but he really wasn't a factor in the game. Some of those yardage came late in the game when they were still, for whatever reason, running the football. I didn't think he was overly impressive today. Some of that's the offensive line, but some of it is just that I don't know that he's attacking the holes the way that he needs to. I will say he's a tough guy to tackle.
Yeah,
it's just he's so stout, but he's so short. Like when Mikey Sanderson's trying to get low on him and he can't get low enough. Mikey's also like the same size height-wise as Ashton Genty. He's just a tough guy. He's a tough guy to bring down.
Yeah, and to his credit, like he's making chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what. I mean, the Raiders' offensive line, I think you said at the start, like one of the worst groups ever assembled. Like if you could just find
terrible.
5 bad guys and decide to put them all together, there you go. But it was fun to watch is how I would describe it, man. As like a former defensive lineman, offensive lineman, like I really enjoy trench warfare, getting violent, getting physical. They took the matchup again, personally, and I love what they've done up front, revamping it. Ken Law was good today once again. Eddie Goldman continues to flash and make plays. And then this Jacob Martin just put on 20 pounds this offseason, gets to the quarterback, stout at the point of attack playing the run. Jean-Baptiste got a sack. So I thought they were really good up front here this afternoon.
Couple more game balls. The Burgundy Ghost gives one to Jalen Lane. Samurai Show says Dan Quinn. The big cut on his nose. He said the game was going to be physical. I don't know that he anticipated that he was going to be involved in the physicality of the game, but Dan Quinn, he took one right to the chest, got up, had a little bit of blood going down the bridge of his nose, looked badass, but he just kept on going, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
He is a football guy in every sense of in every sense of the word. Black Health and Wealth Show says the offensive line, that just like you, Linnell, getting a game ball, as well as Jalen Lane and Jeremy McNichols. There's a lot of people giving one to my boy Luke McCaffrey. Eric says that Deron Payne was the disruptive AF. I'm going to take that as he gets a game ball.
Yeah, he was really good. And I think they're doing a good job on the D-line of playing off of one another. The stunts are working to perfection. Von Miller's old ass got a sack this afternoon.
Some of y'all finally get to see that haircut too, because they zoomed in on it after his sack.
That thing's ridiculous.
You're not gonna rock that this year?
No, not at all. That's not what I'm currently.
No, you're not.
It's not what I'm working on right now.
Actually, kind of looks like the back of my head because nothing grows on the top. I just have a lot more back there. Maybe if Washington wins the Super Bowl, I'll rock the Von Miller haircut. Yeah, deal. And I'm probably gonna get a tattoo too.
At that point, I mean,
at that
shoot.
Point,
I already told you, I'd be on Pennsylvania Avenue, butterball naked if they won the Super Bowl.
Probably shouldn't do that one. Just being out there having some fun. We'll get to that though. I thought Vaughn was really, really good. There were a few negatives, not a lot. We're not gonna harp on the negative stuff. But with that said, you all know what the negative is.
Matt Gay, you suck. You crybaby. Why do you miss a field goal? Fox pans to you, and your ass is crying. Grow the hell up. You have the most guaranteed money. The money is already in your bank account, brother. You can suck for the rest of the year. Consequence free. You'll still have the bread. Stop crying. We're not a soft football team. Not saying that crying is soft. But when your kicker does it.
And just, you have one job. You gotta, if you have one job,
I just did the most.
You got to do the job. Because like even if you want to be like super pro kicker and like what about kickoffs? You kind of messed that one up
too.
Yeah, so he kind of like so if you have 1.5 jobs, he messed up on both 1.5 jobs. It's just not a great day for him. Now he did get a little bit of redemption, but you need quality, you need consistency, and we have not had quality or consistency from a kicker. Since God knows when. I mean, I saw Joey Sly was getting action today elsewhere.
He's made like 8 straight 50-yarders.
Yeah, that sucks.
One good thing about
I don't root for kickers that leave here, by the way. Like if De'Ami Brown scored last week, I was like, you know what, good for De'Ami. When Antonio Gibson scores, I'm like, you know what, good for Antonio Gibson. When a kicker that was here that is not here is having success elsewhere, I just get pissed off.
Yeah,
I get upset.
Makes me totally upset. Nikki Javala just divulged that DQ got stitches for what happened to him earlier today. So shout out to our guy.
Was that before or after halftime? That really puts a damper on any of the locker room adjustments that could have been made if he was getting stitched up at halftime. Unless, do you think Dan Quinn is giving a speech while getting stitches?
Probably. Probably. He just is that type of guy. Just an absolute total badass. But I think overall from today, like big picture now, we look at this thing from like a 1,000-foot view. It's the Raiders. You've got 2 wins over 2 bad teams. Next week, Atlanta, more formidable opponent. They look terrible today, though. So you had a real opportunity. What do I keep saying? Leaving September 2-2 at worst, which should have been the goal. You got a real chance to leave September 3-1 because Chuba Hubbard had a really good day on the ground today. And
it's literally just about running the football.
Just run the ball. That's it.
Just be a run-first team. And today shows you, hey, we can run the football when we commit to run. You know what they never did?
Yeah.
They never got away from running it.
Nope.
They didn't. I mean, Marcus Mariota, the final numbers, we'll just do a number check real quick. Mariota dropped back to pass 21 times. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's why you scored 41 points. The balance was 32 carries to 21 pass attempts. That's perfect balance. Now, Mariota was good, 207, a touchdown, 15 of 21, but the running game was really the highlight here, and that's just something that Cliff needs to take now as you move forward, especially as you start to play better opponents, to be committed to the run. You have enough bodies back there to make it successful.
Yeah, and I think, to Cliff's credit, it's a little easier to stick with the run when you're having that type of success. What I'm looking for, because this honestly doesn't impress me much from Cliff's standpoint. What I want to see is when it's not working, are you going to have the wherewithal, the patience to say, you know what, this is who we are, staying ahead of the chains, it's just so important. Let's go, you know?
I loved it. I loved every single bit of it. And it was very nice to see that was that was the commitment there. I also love that Terry had the big catch.
Yes.
I loved that. That was just perfect execution there. Zach Ertz had a good game as well. Terry was the leading receiver, 3 catches for 74 yards, 56 of those came on that one catch. That was more than he had the entire season, I believe. Luke McCaffrey had a 43-yard reception that resulted in the touchdown, the only one that Marcus Mariota threw. Also cashed a bet for me, 23 weeks in the making. Zach Ertz had 38 yards. What's that?
That's the whole song.
Yeah. I mean, I get to eat dinner tonight, so thank you to Luke McCaffrey for that one.
I will say, just to be cynical, because there's a clip going around to be screaming about the 2024 draft class on Friday. Shocker. It was a coverage bust. Did he really do anything?
Who?
Luke!
Hey,
no one was in the picture! No one was in the picture that you would have scored.
Hey, who cares?
Who cares?
Still cashes. You know what I mean? Still cashes.
Look, money spends its name.
Honestly,
still cashes.
It's nice as hell to see that somebody else's coverage busts.
Except for...
Because it's felt like it's only us.
So here's the thing, and this is why like doing shows after a loss is always easier from a content perspective, because people are going to be pissed at me. Why are we giving up these explosives at the rate we are? This was not a problem for the defense last year.
No, it wasn't.
And now they're giving them up out of the wazoo. And I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, the game was over. Our starters were on the field. And Mikey Sanders still got ran by Trey Tucker, who Chris Myers just kept calling Trey Turner all game long. It was literally the most annoying thing.
Not a great Chris Myers game.
No, he's a little long in the tooth.
He called Josh Harris the wrong name, too. He's like a kind of important figure in this equation. I think he called him Josh Williams. Like that's a pretty big mess up there.
That's tough.
Like if you're gonna get one guy's name right, if you're not gonna get Trey Tucker's name right, okay, fine. You probably should. You've done a lot of prep, but fine.
Yeah.
You should probably get the owner of the team's name right. Yeah. It's kind of a big deal that he is not Dan Snyder anymore. So like I would feel like you should get that one right.
100%.
But what do I know?
You know how to cash a Luke McCaffrey touchdown bet, pal. That's what you know how to do. I actually can't believe that happened.
I can't either. I cannot either. It was funny because we were at the bar last week, and we're going to be on location next week. Come hang out with us on a brewery in Fairfax. But we were at the bar last week when the team was getting crushed, and Luke McCaffrey almost scored a touchdown. And I looked at you, and I was like, I would have gone ballistic in this bar. And everyone looked at me like I was an alien because Washington still would have been down by a big number, but I would not have cared. So I'm glad that the Luke McCaffrey touchdown finally cashed in a win.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I like the reaction of his teammate. I think Debo was the first dude hauling ass down the sideline. Luke, woo, 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 woo.
He got a Luke chant.
Yeah, dude. The fans are geeked up over it.
To the point where Chris Myers had to be like, they're not booing. Like, yeah, thank you, genius. I think most people understand if your name is Luke, you're going to get a Luke chant, right? Like, we here know that because we did the Cooley chant for such a long time, and on television that sounded like booing. But we're smart. We understand it. You get the context there. If you're watching that game, you're more likely than not in this particular region or in the region of the Raiders, but who cares about you? Your life's not nearly as important as our lives.
All lives matter.
That's a joke.
It was just a joke.
That's a joke. I know.
We can joke.
The streets are hot. I'm sorry.
But no, overall, though, like after today, do you feel differently about the group?
I feel a little bit more confident in the run. I think that's the main takeaway. If you're looking forward, still having a question mark, because we're going to do what we did this week, which is should Jaden play, should Jaden not play? That's going to be the entire conversation this week. Will Jay Daniels play? That aside, they established the run. And it feels like at least this current offensive line combo is the right combo for now until some other guys get healthy. Atlanta got skunked, but you got to be careful about that because Green Bay beat this team pretty handedly, and then they lost to the worst team in the NFL in the Cleveland Browns. So it's very much a week-to-week game. Don't focus on the 0 on the scoreboard for Atlanta. You got to go out there and you actually got to beat their ass. So I'm more confident and more comfortable with a running attack, though.
Yeah, yes, I agree with everything you said. More comfortable with the rushing attack, but like I said a moment ago, when it's 65 and sunny, you're always going to be able to run the football. But like when it's not working, when you have a negative run, are you going to have the patience to stick with it? That's what I want to see from Cliff Kingsbury. As far as looking ahead to next week, Michael Penix came into the afternoon as the only starter without any turnover-worthy throws. He threw 2 picks today, got benched for Cousins. I don't even want to know if we're calling it getting benched. I think it's one of them situations where you just put him in.
Hey, what numbers did Kirk Cousins put up? Asking for a friend.
5 of 7, 29 yards.
Throwing it down the field.
Bijan Robinson, though, has been super impactful as a pass catcher. as well as a runner.
That's going to be
I worry
the real
about
test
our
next
ability
week.
to cover their guys in the secondary, especially when you consider, this secondary is already matched up right now. Next week, what the key is going to be, make them one-dimensional, talking about Atlanta, and then can your D-line get Michael Penix under pressure? Like, can they swarm him?
Yeah.
Because if you can, you'll have a performance like Carolina. But something tells me it's not going to be this easy.
No,
They're going to be pissed. They got embarrassed. Yes.
There's not going to be a lot of games that were as easy today to get after the quarterback.
No.
And you have to clean up the problems in the back end with the miscommunications, because the Raiders, they don't even have a huge amount of talent.
No.
I'd really prefer it, Linnell. What has been... You're an NFL guy, just a general NFL guy. Most of you on the chat, NFL people, right? General NFL people. You probably play fantasy football. What's been the biggest joke for 4 years across the NFL? Is Kyle Pitts finally going to be good?
Oh, yeah.
I'd really prefer that to not be the case next week. Yeah. Tucker Kraft came out of nowhere. It's not that he's a bad player, but he's not a player that you expect is going to hang $120 on you the way that he did Thursday night. Thankfully, they were able to kind of hold Brock Bowers in check. Brock Bowers only caught 4 passes for 38 yards. That's a great performance against the best tight end, the best pass-catching tight end in the NFL. But I'd really prefer it to not have Kyle Pitts running wild on the secondary next week. So
I'm nervous about that.
You have to button up the issues that they had in terms of communication. We're getting a little too regular at having coverage busts with guys running open. That and Matt Gay are the two big negatives. Yeah. They're coverage busts, and I need a little bit more from Joe Witt. As a presser, he's really good at talking. And I am ready to run through a wall for Joe Witt when I listen to him talk. But then when I watch the team on Sundays, I'm like, man, there's more to be desired here. I want to see a lot more against the Atlanta Falcons. And still, we are desperate for a turnover. You got to force a turnover at some point if you are this defense.
Yeah, for sure. And, they're in position to do it. It's only a matter of time. And you know how turnovers go. They only come in bunches. So, fingers crossed, hopefully, you're about to force hella turnovers in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
But right now, just can't catch the ball. That's what it's been. And, there's no slight to them. Kind of just is what it is. I'm more impressed that they're in position to make the play. But to your point, the coverage busts have to stop.
They have to stop.
Because not every team is going to be inept like the Raiders offensively.
Right, and the Raiders are inept. As we wrap up here, Linnell, final takeaways, final thoughts. We got about 90 seconds.
Yeah, I just think I feel a little bit better about the group overall. I'm happy that they were able to get back to dominating the line of scrimmage. Matt Gay, the injuries in the secondary, and then the coverage bust are kind of the things that I'm walking away thinking about the most. And then the health of Jayden Daniels moving forward. I'm going to try to hunt down the audio. I only have the transcribed version of what Fowler had to say on ESPN earlier today, but it seems like it's going to be Marcus Mariota again next week, and it's a revenge game for him. Revenge game for DQ as well. Always going to be a revenge game.
Yeah, it's a double revenge game.
Double revenge game. So I'm looking forward to that and super excited about next week. But overall, man, I thought they played well.
I feel like Marcus Mariota is in a much bigger position for revenge because they actually very much did him wrong. Yeah. And they did him wrong when a Netflix crew was following him. So big takeaway for me is that Marcus Mariota is capable. So that's huge. And they finally ran the football. If you can run the football and dominate the trenches, you're going to be in it with just about everybody. It's the one area where they failed the most against Green Bay. So I'm glad that Cliff learned from it. Regardless of who was playing quarterback today, the fact that they ran the football was hugely impressive. And I anticipate that that is going to be the mindset moving forward, whether it's Marcus next week or Jayden Daniels. Whenever Jayden returns, stay committed to running the football with somebody that is not him in specific. Yeah. Utilize him, but I don't want Jayden to be the leading rusher too many times moving forward in 2025. That's going to wrap it up for us. We'll see you next week in the pregame show for this matchup against Atlanta. We'll be on location at Honor Brewery in Fairfax, so everybody come hang out with us if you need a place to watch the game. He's been Linnell Willingham. I'm Denton Day. We'll see you next week.